Which town in Palm Beach County is getting this? Yes, the housing market here is coming back to life. Surprise, after months of burgeoning inventories, supply has actually gone down and sellers have less competition. And of course, downward price pressure is lifted in most areas. And here's what's been going on in December in Palm Beach County. And is it you that should be celebrating? Well, stick around to the end to find out which town has had the best turnaround and how long it's taking to get an acceptable offer, how much of their asking price that sellers are really receiving, and whether the market feels buyer heavy, balanced, or if it's in an actual seller's market. So that's it. So let's go. Let's start in Boca. Back in September, Boca was pushing 7 months of inventory. Sellers were only getting around 89% of their asking, and it was taking over 70 days to get an offer. Well, fast forward to December, inventory dropped into the mid 5-month range. Sellers are on average receiving about 94% of their asking price, and it's taking about 2 months to get a deal done. And that's not hot, but that is a real improvement. And Delray in September last had more inventory than Boca did and less negotiating power. And now it's in a balanced market with just over 6 months of inventory. But good homes are selling faster at about 1.5 months and receiving about 95% of their asking price, of course, averages. Boynton Beach was sitting around 6.5 months of inventory in September and taking almost 3 months to get an offer. Now it's closer to 2 months to get a yes, receiving mid 90% of asking and way less buyer hesitation. So it's a quiet improvement there. And they only have 5.5 months of inventory. Lantana improved, but still has over 7 months of inventory. So that affects your price. Less inventory than September, however, but sellers still have to work for it as they are accepting offers at about 93% of their asking price. Hypoluxo slowed back in September, and that hasn't really changed much with almost 9 months of inventory, getting less than 93% of their asking price on average in over 2 months. So Greenacres deserves some credit. In September, it was deep into buyer territory, almost 8.5 months of inventory, and now the inventories have come down, pricing improved, and deals are happening much faster than they are in a balanced market at 6.5 months of inventory. Lake Worth Beach in September was a buyer's market, and now inventory has dropped to less than 5 months. So pricing has tightened up, and homes are moving faster here than in most of the county, but it's not a champagne winner yet. And if you're like the other homeowners that I know, regardless of whether you're selling or not, or you're probably just curious as to what's going on just in your community. What are the homes selling for, and who's for sale, and how many are trying to find a buyer? I can put you on an automated community market alert so that you can know the facts about what's going on in your specific community. Not like a glorified, generalized list, but the actual. Just reach out to me, text, call, email. Contacts are in the description below. And then moving on to Wellington. Wellington community is still slower, but way less painful than September. The inventory has come down, pricing has improved, and timelines have shortened. It's in a balanced market now at the 6 month of inventory level. Then Royal Palm Beach quietly flipped the script in September. It was struggling, and now the inventory is under 5 months, and sellers are getting close to 97% of their asking price, and the timelines have shortened too. West Palm still last in place. In September, it had the most inventory. In December, it still does. It's way better than it was, but this is still the slowest, most negotiable market in the county. Just over 7 months of inventory, but and 1.5 months to get an acceptable offer. And North Palm Beach, not great. Almost 8 months of inventory there. So it's a buyer's market. And their days are on the market are not too bad at just over a month, but then they're only receiving about 93% of their asking price. Palm Beach Gardens back in September was transitional, and it still is, with almost 6 months of inventory and shorter days on the market of 42. Loxahatchee improved a lot, and they are in a seller's market at almost 5.5 months of inventory. And it's taking about 2 months to get an acceptable offer. But then about 97% of their asking isn't too bad. Jupiter stayed Jupiter and remained as a seller's market with not quite 5 months of inventory. So it's one of the steadier markets here. So which town can actually celebrate a bit? Which actually outperformed expectations? Well, the toast goes to Lake Worth Corridor in the lowest inventory of only 3.5 months. And they're receiving most of their asking price. And that's your standout this month. So if you like these reports, do hit the like button and subscribe so that you can get an alert when the next report comes out. And if you're thinking about selling, buying, or downsizing, even if it's in a year or more, now is a great time to contact me. The people who plan early always win. Hi, I'm Jann Flowers, your local realtor. I'll see you next month.